Hi folks and welcome back. I wanted to make a series of brief videos just sharing my experiences of the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 DLC with you after I've played them through. You can check out the playthroughs in the link in the description if you like. And the first one we're looking at is Brushes with Death. Now the Kingdom Come 1 DLC I wasn't hugely impressed by any of. I thought the base game was amazing. DLC I could have done without, and I was hoping that the DLC and expansions for Kingdom Come 2 would change my mind and make me feel differently about it, but from what I've seen so far, no, I've not seen anything to make me think otherwise. Now the Brushes with Death DLC is relatively cheap, so what do you actually get for your $4.99 of British pounds? Well, you'll get a few story quests and missions. It's based around an artist who you'll rescue from some wolves near Trotsky Castle. Let's call this guy Jeff, because let's be honest, he's not exactly who he claims he is. He's also a bit of a strange chap, always talking to himself, or, as it turns out, to this weird painted skull that he carries around everywhere. Now, as you can imagine, the story is based around that skull, how he come to have it, and who it is that he's talking to, and a little bit more besides. Unfortunately, I found most of the quest activities rather dull there. Go here, fight this guy maybe, not a huge amount of fighting. Go here, find me these things, bring me this stuff. That kind of stuff, busy quests, doing stuff, fetch quests, I find them rather dull and not terribly interesting. The combat, of course, is always welcome. I love the combat in these games. But the story behind him is rather convoluted, a little complicated, and there's a bit more to it than just going to where the quest marker says and looking for the thing it tells you to look for. What I would recommend is to actually dig around, in some cases literally, and just investigate things a little bit further than you maybe would normally in a quest in one of these Kingdom Come games. Talk to people mentioning it, even if they're not directly part of the quest. You'll find out more and definitely lead to what I think was a more interesting outcome. But I could have cared more about it, to be quite honest. You'll also get some of the artist's gambling dice, a unique set of those. But the main feature of this expansion, of course, is the ability to paint custom shields, which you will unlock more designs and colours as you go through Jeff's quests. And while this seems like a really unique feature, there are two issues that I have with it, really. One is that when you play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, is that you are playing in a first-person perspective. Doesn't really matter how wonderful the design on the front of your shield is, because when you're fighting, you're only ever going to be looking at the back of it. So if you want the bandits and other bad guys that you're fighting to see the wonderful design on your shield, that's great. But the only time you actually see it is when you're looking in the inventory. Now, there is one other instance when you can really admire the appearance of these shields that you paint, but you're going to need the next expansion for that, the Legacy of the Forge, which allows you to then put weapons and armor, including shields, on the wall of your new home. We'll talk about that in the next video. So kind of to get the full benefit of this expansion, you also need to get the next one too. But do be warned, there is a bug in the game at the moment with the latest Monastery expansion, which may have been sorted out by now, but that does gobble up the items on the walls of your house. So if you do have anything up there, if you haven't played that new expansion yet, then just check to see if it's fixed before you go and lose all your nicely painted custom shields, or whatever other stuff you've hung up there. Now, me personally, I'm a function over form kind of guy. I don't really care what things look like as long as they work, so being able to paint my own shield isn't the most exciting thing in the world, and also when I played through Kingdom Come 2 recently, didn't really use a shield all that much. So for me, unfortunately, this DLC, or expansion, or whatever you want to call it, was no great shakes. It was okay, don't get me wrong, and there's some humorous stuff in it, but like most of the other expansions, I think I'd probably rather just go through and play the base game again. However, it should be said, there are some other activities to do that this brings in, and if you're playing the game through from the beginning, having already bought the expansion, it's probably going to fit in better as you go through rather than trying to play it like I did after I'd finished the main quest. And that actually holds true for all the Kingdom Come expansions, both for 1 and 2. You get more out of them if you play them having gone through the game from the beginning, rather than try to play them as an afterthought once having finished the main story. So there you have it, my thoughts on the Brushes with Death DLC for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I do have a more in-depth review of the main game, and of course full playthroughs up on the channel, and we're going to be going through the latest expansion, which takes place in the Sedlitz Monastery, I think, coming up in a few days' time. So do stay tuned for any of those if you're interested. Let me know your thoughts on the expansions, of course, and the game in general down below. Always nice to hear them. And of course, folks, I'll catch you again on the next one.